Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm going to give folks a few moments to settle in. So for those of you just logging in now, welcome to our school year abroad admissions information session. This is going to be focused on our full year and our semester options for our students. If you're interested in summer, please contact us via our website and I can put you in touch with our summer program coordinator. But this information session itself will be focused on the year-long and the semester programs. So thank you all for coming. We're very excited to have you here tonight. We will start with introductions. My name is Maggie Bland. I am an assistant director of admissions at School Year Abroad. And again, we really appreciate your time on this Thursday evening. And we are joined tonight by two incredible SYA alumni from last year, who graduated with us last year. So I'm going to ask each of them to do a brief introduction in the target language and just tell us a little bit about where they are now, current high school, and your SYA country. So let's start with Maddie.
Hola, soy Maddie, soy estudiante a St. Paul's. Estudié en España el año pasado durante todo el año. So I'm Maddie. I'm currently studying at St. Paul's boarding school in New Hampshire. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I was in Spain all of last year.
Thank you, Maddie. And then Emily.
Ciao, mi chiamo Emily, sono di New York e studiavo a Viterbo per 5 mesi. I'm Emily. I attended SYA Italy for the spring semester last year. I'm from New York City and I go to Riverdale Country School, and this year I'm a senior at Riverdale.
Awesome. Thank you both, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am going to move on with our admissions presentation, and then we will bring our alumni back to the stage for our Q&A for our panel. So let me just pull up my screen. All right. So again, we are here for the full year and semester-long programs at SYA or School Year Abroad. So picture yourself here, traveling throughout your new city and country, meeting new friends, and learning the language through conversations with locals. With campuses in France, Italy, and Spain, SYA is here to turn your learning journey into one that is focused on hands-on and real-world experiences at one of our 3 European campuses. So just briefly, our sophomores can apply for the full year or the spring semester, juniors, fall, spring, or full year, and seniors, fall semester or full year. So I will show a quick video and then we will continue on.
Every experience you have here will be an adventure. The risks, the rewards, they're all included. This entire year has just been about things being based on where we are or where we are going with the school next. You learn about something and then you get to experience it. That makes classes a lot more engaging, knowing that we're going to see the things that we're studying.
You really feel the gravity of the things that you learn out of your textbook rather than just hearing about them and memorizing some flashcards. I think it's the difference between memorization and understanding.
It's not just schoolwork, it's actual practical experience that you can't really get anywhere else.
What SYA does best is make students comfortable being uncomfortable. You really start to embrace the idea of being uncomfortable.
I don't think any other program could really give you this experience. They're willing to throw their students into these situations, trust that we'll be okay, and in the end, we are okay. And I think that we take so much away from it just because SYA is willing to give us that trust and freedom.
So the capstone project is the culminating end of year project for all SYA students. confidence that's very much grounded in the fact that we are in Spain. And
okay, I may just continue on because it's buffering a little bit and I will cover everything in our presentation. But the video is on our YouTube and our website if you'd like to complete it. Sorry about that. So basically all of our students at SYA live with a personally matched host family as they feel truly at home while living abroad. Our campuses are in Rennes, France, Viterbo, Italy, and Saragossa, Spain. So you'll see on this slide that all of our campuses have their own SYA campus building. So a question that we get a lot is, where will I attend school? Will it be an SYA campus or a local school? And basically you'll go to classes each day with about 50 to 60 other students from high schools across the United States. We do have a 2-year language requirement for all of our programs. For Spain and France, that's 2 years of Spanish or French. And then for Italy, it's just 2 years of a different language, but you do not need prior Italian experience to attend. And for those of you who may feel intimidated by the language component to our program, I just want to assure you that a wide variety of language learners excel at SYA due to the fully immersive experience. So you do not need to be fluent or conversational in the language to attend. You will learn very quickly through the immersion component. So as part of our fieldwork curriculum, students will get outside of the classroom and really take their education into their own hands. So whether that's interviewing locals for political science, presenting research on a topic that's important to you, or going to museums to study art history. Again, you're just taking ownership of your learning and really getting outside the classroom to explore the culture and city around you. So Chrissy, one of our awesome alums from last year, said, I thought I saw independence at boarding school, but then I did SYA. And you'll only grow more independent through the SYA experience. And a lot of that is through our school-based trips to smaller cities around the country. So here you can see where our students visit in France in small groups led by our faculty at SYA. Here is where some of our students go in Italy. And then we have our cities we visit in small groups in Spain. Again, some of these cities you may recognize, some you may not. That's fully intentional to get our students to really embrace the culture and the language immersion. So another part of our program is our capstone projects, where students can really dive into a subject that is important to them. So recent capstones include researching fashion, investigating local farming practices, and studying environmental sustainability. All of our students also participate in at least 2 local activities, whether that's a cooking class, a photography class, or joining a local club team. Students are really, again, making local connections. And all of our campuses do have their own exchange program in some capacity to help students meet local high school students as well. So at each step of your voyage abroad, you'll be guided by dedicated local and American faculty members. So the American faculty members will be teaching math and English in English, and then the local teachers will be teaching the other 4 subjects, which is 2 electives and 2 language courses, mostly in the target language. Colleges love SYA. So in presenting yourself to your colleges and universities as an SYA graduate, you're really saying that you have a distinctive story to tell, and you're demonstrating the grit and ambition it takes to live in a new country and learn a new language. So again, it's really helpful for college admissions folks to see that you're already independent, you're already living on your own and contributing to a small community, so that they could even more easily picture you on their campus. At SYA, we believe that financial need should not discourage any student from attending our program. That's why about 41% of our students receive financial aid, and we have over 10 scholarships offered. We did get a question about how the school payment works, and every school is different. So we have over 120 sending schools. Often our schools will pause their own tuition and have a student go through SYA, but that is a question for your sending school. So SYA is a risk worth taking. We hope that you take this opportunity to make an incredible place like Rennes, France, Viterbo, Italy, or Saragossa, Spain, your home. You don't need to fill out the QR code, but definitely follow us on social media. Our Instagram and TikTok have our current students producing content for us, which is really, really helpful to get a sense of a day in the life at each campus. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we will bring our alumni back onto the stage. Welcome back. And we will jump right into our Q&A with Maddie and Emily. So let's start off with Maddie. Could you tell us a little bit about one of your favorite classes?
So my favorite class while I was studying in Spain, I took a full year class of theater, which was a class held completely in Spanish, where we did a lot of like examining Spanish plays, and we did monologues in class, and then part of the class as well was to do two full shows at the end of each semester, which were held completely in Spanish, and we made the sets and did the blocking. And I had a really amazing teacher for that. And it was such a fantastic class. It was the class that helped me learn Spanish the most because you had to read, write, perform in Spanish. And it was just a really, really fun class that I learned a lot in.
Awesome. Thank you, Maddie. So that was one of Maddie's elective courses. So students take 2 elective courses while they're at SYA, 2 language courses. One is a little bit more culture and conversation based, and the other is a little bit more grammar based, and then English and math at the honors level. So those are the 6 classes that students take. Co-curricular activities. Emily, can you tell us a little bit about an activity you did in Italy?
Yep, I did a few extracurriculars. I did tap dance because I tap dance at home and I wanted to continue that. So our amazing extracurricular coordinator, Dave, helped me find a place in Viterbo that I could continue tap dancing. I also played tennis, which I didn't really do a lot of before going, but that was really fun. I got to interact with local Italians, and I had a few of my friends from SYA Italy come with me too. I also was part of Fermentation Nation, where we get to brew and taste some pretty incredible meads, beers, and wines, as alcohol is a big part of the culture there. So we learned the science behind it and how to make our own. It was obviously supervised by the teachers, and I also was part of the exchange program, Gemologgio, with the local teenagers. I participated in the Carnival parade in Viterbo, so that wasn't really through the school, but that was super fun. And I also organized and emceed the open mic night that we did at the end of the year.
Oh, it's so fun. Such a wide variety, which I'm so glad you spoke to that question. And Emily mentioned our extracurricular coordinator. So every campus has one, and they help set the students up with the resources to find local activities. And again, I think this is one of the major ways we see that students can connect with local teenagers, because they are going to SYA school with other SYA students. All right, favorite food. I've got to go back to Italy for the favorite food question. Emily, what would it be?
Yeah, before going to Italy, I had never even tried a tomato. I was super, super picky. So I was very shocked to eat all the new foods when I was there. But I loved gnocchi alla sorrentina. That was such a classic. Really good pasta everywhere. Great pizza. Gotta love the food.
Awesome. I'm so jealous. All right, how about a favorite school trip, Maddie?
This was such a hard one to choose because I went on so many amazing trips, both in our independent travel with, I think, a group of my friends. Our first big travel trip was to San Sebastian, where we like hung out on the beach. We watched the sunset. We got to stay there, just us, for a night, and we went out to try different like tapas. Got to see the aquarium. It was super fantastic. And then as well with the school, we went on so many amazing trips. I think one of the highlights was we had a week-long trip with the school, led by the teachers, where we went to the south of Spain. I think we visited three different cities, and we went on so many tours exploring the culture, the restaurants. I remember doing a cooking class. I did a salsa dancing class, having never danced before, so that was really fun. But yeah, I mean, so many amazing trips.
Great. Thank you so much. So next topic, which both of you will get to speak on, which I'm excited about, is our host families. So Emily, if you could talk a little bit about your host family, and maybe what you remember about the process as well.
Yeah, I had a great host family. I had 2 host sisters. One was a little bit older than me, and one was a little bit younger than me, so I was a middle child. They were really great. We lived outside of the city, so I got to see what it was like in the countryside. And one time they took me on a trip to Siena, and they wanted to learn a little bit about my culture. So we saw the synagogue of Siena, and my host mom showed me her college where she went, her university in Siena. So it was a really nice exchange of cultures. And she was a great cook. So I loved my host family. It was really good.
That's so great. And you speak on something which is trips. So basically our host families take on our SYA students as if they had another child. So wherever that your host family goes, as long as it's approved by the school, the student will go as well. And that applies to holidays as well. So for students who stay for the full year, for example, winter break, the host families are fully prepared to host the student through the holiday season. And that's just one example. But basically for the whole time the student is with us, the host family is prepared to host them. Maddie, how about your host family?
They're absolutely fantastic, and I still keep in contact with them today. I know if I'm ever in Spain, I'll always visit because they are very much like a second family to me now. And to speak a bit on that, on the aspect of trips, I spent Christmas, or the winter break, with my host family, and I didn't go home. And so for the Christmas, and then there's a holiday in Spain called Reyes Magos, and for that I went to the hometown of my host father, which is like a 3-hour drive from Zaragoza. And that was really, really cool because I got to experience celebrating Christmas with a different culture and with completely new foods, and got to meet all of my, extended host family as well. And that was really cool for me to meet everybody and to experience that new thing.
Yeah, and talk about another way, I think, to make some local connections. I think the host families themselves are great to have as a local connection, but also their extended family and their family friends that, again, they're bringing our students to family functions and birthdays and everything like that, which is a great way to feel connected and make more local connections. So for the host family placement process, all of our students fill out a long survey with what they're looking for in a host family, sleep schedules and sibling preferences and dietary restrictions, anything like that. And then each campus has a host family coordinator who interviews and does a full background check on all of our host families, most of whom are referred to us by existing host families, though most are returning host families, so we know them quite well. And then over the summer, the placement coordinator places our students with who we think they'd be a great match with in a variety of capacities. So it's a very thorough process on our end, and we take a lot of pride in matching our students with host families. On to fieldwork activities. So all of our students do regular fieldwork on campus. It lines up to be about once a week, where students get outside of the classroom and go explore the city with their teachers. And that's, again, the teacher whose class the fieldwork is about will lead the fieldwork. So let's talk about that. Emily, what was your favorite fieldwork activity that you did?
My favorite fieldwork was probably one of the first ones we ever did. And the task was we had to navigate to one of the local surrounding towns in a group of 3 students without help from the teachers. And we had to navigate there using public transportation, using the language that we were trying to speak in. And that was a really big challenge. We were brand new to the country, spoke very little to none Italian, and it was really exciting to get to have the new freedom to explore the city and also learn about the local towns that I wouldn't have visited otherwise. And I was in a group with 2 other semester students, and we found a bus. It was a long way to get to the bus. We had nowhere where the bus station was, but we figured it out with the help of the locals. And by the end of the day, we had eaten a lot of good food in this little town, seen a few churches, and had a relaxing day. So it was really exciting. And I think it also is what the heart of SYA is. It teaches you to be independent and explore. And I thought that was a really good way to introduce the students to the fieldwork.
Great. I love that fieldwork. And a little bit about our capstone project. So all of our students, even our semester students, will participate in a final project where they take a subject that they've really wanted to dive into more, and often do a series of interviews with local people, sometimes visit new places to dive deeper into the subject. So Maddie, could you tell us a little bit about what your capstone was on and maybe a couple other examples from your class?
Yeah, so my capstone was I was exploring the beauty standards in Spain. And so for my capstone, I visited and interviewed with a couple different plastic surgeons in the Zaragoza community. And so I, came up with a question that I wanted answered, and then I met with, people who were experts in the field, which I think was really a cool experience because I just was able to communicate with them in Spanish in this way that was very professional. And it was a very educational experience. And I know a lot of my friends did capstones about the environment or about cooking, or like there are so many different things that you could possibly do the capstone about. There's a lot of creativity afforded to the students. So I like anything that you could think of can be made into a capstone. I know one of my friends ended up like studying about writing like comics in Spain and wrote his own comic, and it was very cool. And there's a lot of support as well from the teachers to help you, figure out what you want to study, and they help you a lot with finding people to talk to as well.
Great. Thank you, Maddie. So a common question that we get is about a day in the life. So we do have a section on our website for each campus about kind of the timeline, but in general, Emily and then Maddie, could you walk us through a kind of a typical day in Italy and then Spain?
Yeah, totally. For the Italy campus, we start at 8:10 and then we end at 4:07. And I know that sounds like a long day, but the Italy campus isn't very rigid. We're allowed to leave during our freeze or go out for lunch. So we have a lot of freedom, and you're not always at school for, the however many hours that is. Some common class we had agroecology, which is science, local global perspectives, where it's more of a history class, examining the present day state of Italy. And we had a lot of interesting speakers every once in a while come stop by. We have math space, which is a more independent version of learning math. So it's all self-paced. And then we have an option included with SYA called the Mensa for food at lunch. And we can go, it's part of the local university, and we can go eat there, or you can go out with your friends to one of the restaurants. Either way, it's all great food. You're in Italy. And then a lot of times we had free periods. So we would hang out in the Salone, which is the central room of the school. Someone was always playing the piano, singing. Something was always going on in the Salone. And then after school, as soon as 4:07 hit, we would usually go to a cafe in the town before our host parents came and picked us up. My favorite cafe in the town was Cafeina, and it's a really cool cafe. We go sit up there, we get a drink, maybe a few cookies, cake. We do our homework and hang out with our friends. It's a very relaxing day. And then at the end of the day, we'll go home, have dinner with our host families, which is usually a couple hours long. And then I usually watched TV with my host family or played cards with my host sisters afterwards. And then I would go to bed.
Thank you. Maddie?
Yeah, it was quite similar. So we would go to school in the morning. I took public transportation everywhere. It was super easy. So I'd go to school in the morning, and like the Italy campus as well, we had a lot of free periods and breaks between classes, during which time me and my friends would usually go to one of the coffee shops around the street, and we'd get coffee. And we got really familiar with the people working there by the end of the year. And then during the year, or during the rest of the school day, we'd take classes. There was the normal like math, English. I took a class on Spanish cinema, and which was kind of about like Spanish history through the lens of cinema, and then theater as well. And then through the day, we also had an experiential learning class. So sometimes for that, we would go out and do like street interviews or like explore a new neighborhood, which was super cool. And then for lunch, I think there was a cafeteria, which had very good food, I think. And then a couple times a week, the school would give us some money to like go out and go to a restaurant. And there were so many good restaurants, so much good food in Spain. And then after school, usually my friends and I would go again to a cafe or to one of our extracurriculars. I took an art class with a local artist there, so I would go do that after school. And then after that, I would usually hang out with my friends. We would go to see movies a lot because there was a cinema right down the street. And so we'd see movies in Spanish to help improve our language. And then before curfew, we'd come home, have dinner with our host families, usually quite late because people in Spain eat eat dinner a lot later. And then I would also usually watch a movie with my host sister or play board games with my host family.
Great. Such valuable time after the school day, too. I think our classes are fantastic. I saw a question come in about the credits. So as you heard Maddie and Emily talk about, our classes cover everything from an environmental science credit, which could be a science credit, an art history or art credit. Depending on the elective, the school would decide which kind of subject area the credit would count. And then it's 2 language classes, a math, and an honors level English class. So those are the 6 credits students would receive, and we're a fully accredited U.S. high school. So thank you both for that. And let's finish up with Maddie. What made you kind of in the end apply to SYA? What was it that really encouraged you to take that leap?
I honestly thought it would just be an incredible opportunity, and I couldn't think of any reason why I shouldn't take this experience. I know it seems scary, but once, it just seemed like such an amazing opportunity to get to know a new culture, study a new language, meet new people from all across the United States. And I thought that it would really help me build my independence and maturity as well. And then it's just such a incredible opportunity to really get out of your bubble and explore something new. And it really was. I think I definitely got all of the things that I thought I would, and that I've definitely grown as an individual through my year abroad.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that, Maddie. So a couple of your pre-submitted questions. We had a question about financial aid. That is a question for your sending school, how they handle tuition with SYA being a factor. But we do have over $2 million in financial aid, so we strongly encourage every student who's thinking about it to apply. And the application for financial aid is due February 9th, as is our admissions application, so the same day. We went over the host family choosing process a little bit. So if you have questions about that, you can reach out to me. My email is mbland@sya.org. So there are some questions about student safety. We do have a page on our website dedicated to student safety as well. But the main point of contact for student safety is our resident directors. So each campus has basically a head of that campus, and they're all absolutely fantastic. And all of the students have their cell number. They can be reached at any hour. Our host families are incredibly helpful if any student needs it. But the resident director is the main point of contact, and will also be sending regular communications home to the families who send a child to SYA with us. So that's definitely the main point of contact. And then this question's interesting. We get this question a lot about homework. So I don't know if Emily or Maddie, you want to talk a little bit about the level of homework. I know you both are coming from rigorous independent schools, but how did that kind of feel going to SYA with the language immersion and then also homework on top of it?
I think definitely the school takes into account how tiring it can be to be in a fully immersive program there. And so you do get homework, but I don't think, at least coming from a boarding school, I didn't think it was that much homework. I thought I had more than enough free time outside of school to, really engage with the culture. And I wasn't completely bogged down with homework every single night, which was really nice.
Yeah, I can also comment on that. We really didn't have that much homework. It was still enough that the classes were super rigorous, but we had enough free time and free periods during the school day as well that you could complete almost all of your work before going home. And also a lot of the homework was ask your host family this question and record their answers. So a lot of it was helping you bond with your host family and learn more about the culture through your experiences with them. So I thought it was a really nice way to still be learning, but also be able to connect and not be bogged down by all the work.
Great. We do have a question here about how you're graded. So all of our SYA students do receive a transcript at the end of their time with us. That's a separate SYA transcript, but it does have letter grades like our system in the US. So basically when students are applying to colleges and universities, they'll attach 2 transcripts to their file. Super easy to do. And often a student will ask at least one SYA teacher to write a recommendation, which can be also really helpful for the college process. every single campus also has a college liaison who will help juniors start the process and seniors complete the process. So we're fully prepared to help students through the college process, in addition to being an SAT testing site. So final question of the night. We have a request to hear a little bit more of the target language. So I'm putting both of you on the spot. I think easy to focus on a subject when doing that. So if you want to talk about another class you really liked, or your host family a little bit, anything else that we maybe touched on that you think is relevant, just to showcase some of your language skills. I'll turn it over to you.
Bueno, ¿qué puedo ir primero? In Spanish, yeah? In a different language?
En español.
Okay. En español, sí. Bueno, ahora estoy en seminario, español seminario, es que es el nivel más alto en mi escuela. Y bueno, he mejorado mucho de mi español, específicamente en comunicando. Pero mi gramático todavía necesito practicar más, pero sí, he mejorado mucho.
Thank you, Maddie.
Ciao. Non parlavo molto italiano prima di venire alla scuola in Italia. Non parlavo mai in italiano, ma adesso quando sentire algo parlo con las personas que parlan en italiano. Sí.
Thank you, Emily. I think it's so fun from a distance to hear that. Oh yeah, this question about playing instruments in Italy. I know our campus in Italy has like instruments lying around everywhere because so many students play. We have a question about the cello, which, Emily, I don't know if you know if anyone in your class played the cello. I know that a student in Spain has, and they worked with our extracurricular coordinator to rent a cello abroad. But in general, Emily, can you talk a little bit about your friends who played an instrument? Did they play mostly at school, or was it through an orchestra?
Yeah, my friend actually, since we have like 3 pianos, I think, on the Italy campus, and one of my friends, he loved to play the piano in the school, but he had no idea how to play. And I think towards the end of his time abroad, he started taking piano lessons with a local teacher, which I think is really cool because he had never played before going. I'm not sure how the cello would work. We have a few guitars, but I'm sure, again, the incredible extracurricular coordinators could find a way to make that happen, especially since we're near Rome. There's everything.
Great. Thank you. Awesome. Well, a huge thank you both to Emily and Maddie for joining us tonight. Please start your application and continue with this. It really is an incredible experience. And we also hope that you follow us on our TikTok and Instagram to see what our current students are up to. But again, huge thanks to Emily and Maddie for joining us. And we hope to hear from all of you soon. So thank you so much. Bye, everybody.